We no longer need to explain the spoilage of food in the kitchen at night, which they used to have to do in the olden days. You'd leave food out, and then it would spoil after a while, and they would think that imps or pixies or fairies or whatever would come out and mess with the food and cast spells upon it to make it spoil. These things, supernatural, magical explanations just become less and less necessary. So it's just a happy accident that I think a lot of science is simpatico with non-theistic worldviews, but you still get a lot of people either way. You get Christians who accept evolution by the same rationale that Matt just described. Well, that's just how God did it, and Genesis is all metaphor and poetry.
See, I've recommended that particular lecture from Krauss to theists. Some Christian apologist or whatever will send me an email and say, "Well, you all think that something comes from nothing." Well, first of all, that has nothing to do with atheism or theism. I mean, it is completely separate. But I'll recommend that they go watch Krauss's lecture from the AI convention, which I thought was brilliant and explained things. I mean, it's not even worth it for me to even start talking about the subject, really, in comparison. And they'll come back and say, "See, he just said it." And it's clear that they weren't paying attention, because I know that there's a point in there where Krauss himself explains that what physicists mean by nothing is not the colloquial nothing. And I'm not the guy to explain it.
Well, I guess I'll kind of let you guys take another call or whatever, because I'm not really familiar with the whole concept of nothing according to what you guys are talking about. So,
okay.
I guess thanks for talking about it. So I guess I'll
thanks, Chris.
I appreciate the call, Chris.
Appreciate it.
I've been hoarse for days. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, and I'm getting there.
Yeah. Who do we want?
So we got Kevin in Nashville.
Hello.
Kevin?
How are you, Kevin?
Hi.
All right. How are you guys?
We're fine.
Hey. I've heard you say bad things about Pat Robertson.
Yes.
Because of his comments, but I mean, you've read the Old Testament.
Yes.
And you've read about Sodom and Gomorrah and the Great Flood. That's pretty nasty stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really just a little extrapolation he's doing, isn't it?
Well,
if you believe that crap, you'll believe, the occasional earthquake or hurricane.
Well, I'm not saying, I'd never say that Pat is being inconsistent with his theology. I'm saying he's a dick.
Yeah, I mean, it's just...
I mean, he's consistently a dick.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with that.
And that's,
I mean,
that's
you can see his point. You can see his point of view.
I can see it in the same way that I can see a mass murderer's point of view. Yeah. It's a sick and twisted mind that's doing something that it shouldn't be doing. He's desperately in need of help, and at this point, the only help I think he can get would be to go ahead and kick the bucket.
76. I mean, it's past time anyway.
Okay. All right. That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah. Now, well, we talk about people, saying things that are rude, insensitive, hateful, wrong, whatever. It's when you take your particular religious view and say, "Look, you guys made a pact with the devil, and now God's coming to get you." And it's just, it's internally consistent, but it has no corollary in reality. We're touching back on Ryan's call earlier. Yeah. This is what happens when too many of your beliefs are no longer consistent with reality. And last week on the show, and yesterday we talked about it, so I'm not going to hammer out too much. Brett Hume had made comments about Tiger Woods, saying he's a Buddhist, and I don't think that faith has the kind of forgiveness that he needs. So, Tiger, I'd recommend that you become a Christian. To me, that's almost as bad as what Pat Robertson said.
Right, because no Christians ever cheat on their wives.
Well, the only reason it's not quite as bad is because he's perhaps just going after one person. But I'll say this: Brett Hume's correct in a different sense, and I mentioned it yesterday, and that is that from the public's perspective, there's nothing better that Tiger could do than apologize and say he found Jesus. All of a sudden, the entire scandal's forgiven. That is within the culture of the United States, where you've got predominantly Christian. Finding Jesus is your get-out-of-jail-free card. And that's in that sense, Hume was right. I even hate calling him Hume because it disparages the memory of better Humes.
But again, it's just like... but Hume's statement was just like Ryan's claim about the $1 million in the closet, right? Well, how can Brit Hume know that? I mean, how is that testable at all? That was just one of those many statements that religionists make that are smug, but not based on anything. But they just don't care because it jives with what everyone else already believes. But you're right. The whole get out of jail free card. That's that's not a figure of speech. I mean, if you're in jail and you do religious training, you get time served for that.
Yeah.
Yes, because apparently, so that.
All right, Kevin, we're gonna see how many calls we can get through today.
Okay.
And see how many of them.
Thanks. Thank you.
Appreciate it. We got John in Philly.
Hey, what's up?
How you doing?
How you doing, guys?
Listen,
I've been busy today. I'm sorry. Go ahead. What were you saying?
He just said we're good. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. I was busy today. I didn't get a chance to catch most of the show. I didn't know you guys had already talked about it, but. I just wanted to say that I don't usually get political. I'm usually pretty lazy when it comes to, this person said this on the air, and I kind of go, so what? But when I heard about what Pat Robertson said, I kind of got sick to my stomach, and it kind of drove me to look for his email address, and I think the best I could do was go on the 700 Club prayer line. And I actually sent in a prayer request for Pat Robertson's soul.
So what to happen to it? what did you pray exactly?
If he had one, I kind of just prayed. I don't pray. I'm not religious.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm just being
when you're
polite.
sending in a prayer request, you're asking somebody else to do the work for you anyway.
But
I just.
I'd really like to get better, but I'm a lazy bastard, so could you pray for me?
Every time sometimes I watch 700 Club, just for shits and giggles.
Oh yeah, I used to watch TBN for the same reason.
Yeah, it's great. Like he just stands there with his squinty eyes and just prays for some guy's broken foot across the country to magically heal in Jesus' name.
It's a window into another world, isn't it?
It is. Well, I realize that people actually watch this, and they listen to this man, and that's why I'm very thankful for programs like this. It really.
This is the same guy.
We're healing you now,
yes.
Sean. We're healing you.
This is the same guy who tried to blame 9/11 on atheists and lesbians and abortionists, and the same guy who blamed Hurricane Katrina on gays. Although, as Jeff T. pointed out.
And San Francisco had a big earthquake back in '89. And I remember watching him.
He was alive in 1889?
No. Yes, actually.
Probably.
Just getting going. This is all par for the course for Robertson.
And honestly, at this point, it almost feels like desperate grasping for attention. The final, he's like one of those fish that you finally drug up on shore, and just you think it's settled down, and you're sure that it's dead, and then when you reach down to grab it, it starts flopping again. That's what Pat Robertson's doing. He is a flopping little piece of crap.
Well, do you guys remember? I think it was a year ago when he claimed that he could leg press 2,000 pounds.
Yeah. Yes.
And then
yeah.
And started releasing his own special exercise drink blend stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then he had some sort of heart complaint, right? I mean, he had something to do with.
That's what happens when when God makes your food instead of doctors.
Yeah. Well, here's what I did in response to Pat's whole thing, because I just decided to have fun with this. I created a page on Facebook. It's called We Condemn Pat Robertson, and as of me driving to the studio today, it's got something like 2,800 members, and it's probably up over 3,000 now. So.
That was you.
Yes, that was me.
See, and I keep getting invites to that, and because there's so many people that have already, friended me on Facebook.
I
just click ignore straight in the line. I don't even see it. So if you invited me to something on Facebook and I didn't join.
See, I did that for that very reason.
It's not an affront. I just bam, because I can't fill up my page with that much.
There's either somebody who has made a Pat Robertson voodoo doll that he's selling on eBay. and with the proceeds to go to Haiti relief. And the auction right now is up over $500 for this horrible, ugly little doll. And but the people.
So it's accurate.
Yeah. Right, right down to the frizzy hair and the Bible and the stiff posture and the and my only thing is I'd get it, but it needs to be bigger so you can stick more pins in the son of a bitch. But
my thing,
I'm just loving all this Robertson abuse. It's great. I mean, it's just really coming from everywhere. No one likes this man anymore.
It's
wonderful.
Sick. Thanks a lot for the call, John. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.